Happy Canniversary to me! Hi guys! Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Ichechi. I am a Nigerian immigrant based here in Canada. 1 year ago, I moved into this country as a permanent resident. I'm sure you would have watched the video of my relocation journey. If you haven't, please do well to go back and watch all those videos. So this particular one can make a lot of sense to you. So, how has life been for me? 1 year since I got into this country. This is me coming back here to share my story, to share my journey so far, the reason why I moved to Canada. Has it been rosy? How has life been generally for me in Canada? Do I have regrets moving into this country? What has this country taught me so far? Guys, don't go nowhere because I'm about to spill all the tea. Before we head into all the juicy details, you may want to grab whatever it is you're snacking on, whether it's your juice, whether it's your popcorn, whatever it is you are snacking on. Just go get it, okay? And let's get right into the story time. So, guys, who wants to hear all about my story? Stay tuned, don't go nowhere, okay? So, guys, officially, I left the shores of Nigeria on the first day of October 2022. Yes, I know Nigeria's independence, right? Imagine, as an adult, where you have your life going. Mind you, I had a very good life in Nigeria. I had a very comfortable job. I had my comfortable apartment, my car, like I could afford to take vacations if I desire. So I was pretty much in a good space back home. But somehow I felt that I wanted more. I'm not going to share all of those details. Hopefully, I'm going to share my PR story with you guys where I would explain in details how, like, the entire process leading up to this point in time. So I left the shores of Nigeria on her Independence Day, and I arrived in Canada as a permanent resident on the 2nd of October. Trust me, leaving my family back was such a hard time. You guys would have seen the video, but just in case you haven't seen it, I'll be leaving the link up above. Just do well to catch up on the entire relocation series. That way, this particular sit down video makes a lot of sense to you. I arrived Canada, and as expected, I did everything that a newbie would do, and for sure that would be having your social insurance number, setting up your bank account, having like your health card, getting like a family doctor, driver's license, and all of that good stuff. So, my early days in Canada wasn't all butterflies, trust me. When I got here, in fact, before I left Nigeria, up until a day before I set out, um, I wasn't sure where I was going to stay. So, through the help of a dear friend, I know he wouldn't want me to mention his name, he was able to secure my first place, like as their house guest. So, I stayed with a family when I arrived first for 1 month. Quickly, I knew that my proof of funds wasn't going to last. Not because I didn't have like the adequate amount that was expected of like a new immigrant. I did have that, but coming from a country where you just pay your rent once in a year, here you pay your rent monthly. So after the few days excitement of coming into Canada, I quickly realized that I need to get my life going. Trust me, guys, there were days when I asked myself, who sent me? Did I make the right choice? I mean, I left a pretty decent life back home. And as an adult, you're literally putting your entire life in a few suitcases and you're jetting off to a new country to start from ground zero. Guys, that is very daunting. Guys, the search for the job began. Mind you, when I was back in Nigeria, I did try to find jobs. I actually even interviewed for some jobs, but I didn't I didn't qualify for whatever reason. There's always this thing about having Canadian experience. So at some point, I stopped even trying to search for jobs back in Nigeria because the entire process of, having to quit my last job, going back to Port Harcourt to, spend some quality time with my family before relocating and just doing like last minute things, it was too much for me to handle. And so I decided that when I get into Canada, I would, actively start searching for jobs. And so, um, as I said earlier, the excitement of coming into the new country had, waned. So I started searching for jobs, guys. Like, I was searching for jobs, like, and I would have interviews, I wouldn't get callbacks, you know. I definitely, it took 5 weeks for me, guys, 5 weeks to get a job. So remember, the first place I stayed was for 1 month. At this time, I was in between moving into my next apartment and trying to find a job. So imagine like the extra measure of stress I was going through. And at the time, I wasn't keen on going back to my YouTube channel. I was dealing with a whole lot, that it was such a struggle for me. A lot of things took like a back seat for me. So, because at that point in time, the only thing I cared about was how to just get situated and start making money. I landed my first job as a customer service representative. Guys, now this job is what you typically call a survival job in Canada. So survival jobs are those jobs that are like minimum wage kind of jobs. Most times they do not have additional benefits to it except your regular pay. Most times these survival jobs you earn bi-weekly, so you earn money twice in a month. And I got my first job. Sooner than later, I realized that this job wasn't for me. But because I needed to pay my rent, know that in this part of the world, after the government has taken their tax from you, the next elephant in the room is your rent. And I had told you guys that in as much as my proof of fund was okay, I didn't want to be living off my proof of funds just like that, because here you have to deal with rent on a monthly basis. So I needed a job that at least could take care of that major part of my recurrent expenses. Yeah, because whether you have a job or you're jobless, your rent you still need to pay and survive. So I took on this job and I quickly realized that it wasn't for me, because very quickly into the job, like a few weeks down the line, I started having things like anxiety. It was doing like a number to my health. I developed like chronic chest pain, backache. Like, I literally didn't look forward to signing on the next day, because there is always that one irate customer that has crazy stuff to say. In fact, the moment they hear your accents, they like talk shit and just talk crazy, like down on you. So that thing was beginning to mess with my psyche and it was affecting my mental health, guys. This is something I never talk about, but because I am doing like, this sit down video sharing my experience, I'm putting it out there. For those of you in your respective countries that are like customer service representatives, you are trying, Like, this job is not for the faint-hearted. It can drive you crazy. That was my situation then. Um, at some point, like, I didn't even stay on this job for good 3 months. And so one morning I woke up and I was done. Guys, I was totally done with this job. Now, if you're in this part of the world, you know that you don't just leave a job without having like a backup plan. But that wasn't my case. I didn't care. I was just after my sanity because I was getting to my wit's end on this job. I kept wondering, like, for how much do I get to sit down and receive all of these insults just because I'm trying to survive? So I quit. I didn't have a plan B. I went back into the job market, frantically searching. But now here's where God's grace smiled on me. So during the Hallelujah Challenge, in February of 2023, I engaged with all of my heart. And one of those days, specifically, Pastor Nathaniel Bassi had asked us to dress like our miracle. And so I came super prepared for that encounter. At my place of work currently, I had applied or had like applied for several positions, but for some reason, you know, when they don't even take a look at your resume, that was my case. And so one of those days, after going back to the job market without a plan B, I applied again with the same resume, this time for a much more better position. Guys, I am talking of a managerial position. I applied and totally forgot about it. A few days later, I got an email saying that I had an interview. I'm like, whoa, okay. So I prepared for it. I prayed. I trusted God because, like, I kept, confessing positively, saying that I don't care the number of folks that apply for this job. This job is for me. Yeah, fast forward down the line after like an intense couple of weeks of rigorous interviewing, skill set kind of exams and everything, I did get the job. In between trying to transition into my current job, which I was searching for then, I also considered other professional, like certified courses. And so I sat for the PSM exam and I became like a professional Scrum Master. Remember that I was frantically searching for jobs, but in as much as I considered moving into the tech space, honestly, that decision is, not out of my mind yet. But I felt like I was moving into something too quickly, simply because at the time it was more like the rave. It still is the rave because it seems like the tech industry is really hitting it. Not to say that they don't also have their drawbacks, but I felt like I could transition into that, but somehow I also didn't want to rush into something that I wasn't familiar with or that I could regret tomorrow because you know how you take one step and you see that you just have to take multiple steps. I wasn't sure if I was prepared for the long haul. In as much as I am in a comfortable space at this point in my career, I know I'm still thinking of the next move, career wise, but I am happy for the decision I took. I'm happy that I applied to this job. I'm happy that God smiled on me and, I got the job. I am happy for where I am right now. I'm filming this video from my current space. You guys would have seen the empty apartment tour and all of that. So yeah, that was the turning point for me where I kind of found some respite, like the struggles were over. So um, I'm in a decent place right now in my life. I am pretty happy with where I am right now. I know I am striving to be like the better version of myself. I am still trying to find myself here in this new place. So yeah, I'm happy for the now, and I'm truly grateful to God for the entire experience, to be honest, because it's easy for you to quit. It's easy because when you're back home, sometimes when you hear people's stories, you are wondering like, whoa, what did they do? You feel like God is too far away from you, but um, everybody's experience is unique. Everyone's story doesn't have to be the exact same thing. For some folks, they land their job, in fact, their big job, even when they are in their home countries. But that wasn't my case. And I just wanted to put it out there to you that if you are currently in this kind of situation where you got into this country and it seems like things are not rosy for you, hang in there. Just, continue to do what you have to do, but most of all, continue to trust God for it, because it is at times like this that you discover your true personality and what God has in store for you. Um, yes, I'm 1 year in Canada, but the kind of speed that God has given to me, it's actually surpassing my wildest imagination. I don't have a lot of certified courses. I am not in tech. I am not in the health field. I am not in any of those huge, um, career that you earn a lot of money. But where I am in my space, I am making my impact and I am earning very well from it. So I'm happy. I know earlier I didn't share why I moved to Canada. I moved to Canada because deep down I wanted a better life for myself. I wanted to be in a country where um, the country doesn't happen to me. I wanted to be in a country where, you know, there was great or there is great value in the life of every individual. I wanted to be in a country where, you know, you are not limited because you are a woman. You're not limited because, quote and unquote, you are not loyal to anybody. So people don't value you for what you can bring to the table. People don't value you for your intellect. If you're not literally having like any loyalty to anybody, you cannot necessarily climb the ladder professionally. I was sick and fed up of all of that crap. So I knew I wanted a new lease in life. I also wanted to, for the longest time, be like a dual citizen of a country, and Canada seemed like the step in the right direction for me. The first thing I quickly learned getting here was that, you know, being in a new country all alone by yourself, your entire family is back home, and you're just here all by yourself. I quickly realized that Canada, brought out like an extra measure of strength in me. Like, I am much more resilient than how I have always been before, because you are here all by yourself. You don't have anybody except you and your God. Not to say I do not have, like family members, but they're not close to me. So it is just you running your show by yourself. So Canada has taught me that there is an extra strength to this person here, and I am beginning to tap into that, and it's really helping me a lot. Um, Another thing that it has taught me is that I am much more open, because in course of relating with people, in course of my new job, I am beginning to meet people, and here in Toronto, it is very much a diverse space. You have people from all ethnicity, people with different ideologies, and all that. So getting to relate with these people on a different level helps. I also love the fact that here, whatever job that you do, um, there's that dignity of labor. No one looks down on you simply because you're a cleaner, or like you are like a bus or train driver. I have learned firsthand that here Canada values her citizens, her permanent, like everyone, literally immigrants. Canada has great value for her citizens, and that is rightly so. You know, back home, if you're not working like in that professional field, or you're not working in the top five, it's more or less like, hmm. But here, everybody's profession matters, because we all need each other to live, you know, harmoniously, right? So that is one thing I appreciate being in Canada for. Um, Another thing I love about here is that it's much more secure. Like, the security of lives here matter. So it's how, like, there's literally a lot of information even telling you beforehand what you're supposed to do in the case of an emergency. It's how the things that we probably take for granted back home is such a big deal here, like that there's so much emphasis on that. Canada is teaching me how to be um, like a better person. Not to say that, you know, back home, like I didn't learn anything or there was no value, but I really appreciate it here. This is where, like, you see value for your money. Like, you're literally paying your taxes. However, you are seeing it in the benefits, if I dare say so myself. Um, what are the drawbacks of being in Canada? Yes, in as much as Canada cares for her citizens, for everyone, for the immigrants, you know, in as much as there's so much value on people, there is also systematic racism. Yes, I've experienced it. It's very subtle, but if, like, you need to pay attention to the, like, reading between the lines before like you can notice it. So sometimes you see that these kind of things come up in your place of work. You can even see it on a daily basis if you are taking public transportation. Because you're a person of color, sometimes folks try to avoid you when you are in public places. But guess what? This girl does not care. As a matter of fact, whenever I'm faced with such challenges, I just stretch and even sit down very well and relax. You are paying the same money, I'm also paying the same money. So another thing that drives me nuts is how, you know, people of color as well from other locations try to impose this same racism on you. A little backstory: one of those days I went to visit somebody, and in an elevator there was this lady. She refused to enter the elevator with me, and so I entered. When I got back, like coming downstairs, just as she was about to get into the elevator, I decided to press the button again just to go up so she doesn't enter. So, like, I really don't care for such things. They don't bother me because I know why I'm here. So all of those things are, you know, just behind me. Do I have any regrets coming to Canada? The only thing I can say for sure is that I sincerely do miss my family back home. If you know me very well, you know, like, I'm big on family and I don't joke with mine. Like, we're closely knit together. So staying this past year without seeing them, like, physically, you know, when it's time for family rituals and occasions, I am absent. I do miss that. I do miss my entire household. But if I had to do this journey over and over again, I would definitely do it, because I don't like. I think I made the right choice coming here, trying to find my own path for myself, trying to build a legacy for my children. I am grateful for this step in the right direction. Not to say that my journey has been super easy, but every experience that I've gone through this past 1 year has helped me to be the person that I am today. I don't take it for granted, to be honest, guys. So keep pushing. I'm still pushing. I'm still trying to find that balance. I'm still trying to discover myself in this new country. I am still trying to think like, oh, what is the next big step for me? Oh, let me also add that Canada has made me more financially, do I want to use the word independent? I now, like, I understand more the concept of money, the philosophy behind money, because there's nothing like wastage here. So you just have to channel your resources into things that would benefit you later on. Like most people back home don't even plan for retirement, sort of, because it's just like, you're just taking it one step at a time. But I constantly find myself making better financial commitments, and I am truly grateful for that. So, yeah, I guess this is my story of how it's been for me for the past 1 year. Hoping to check in with you guys again when I clock 2 to share additional updates with you. Um, if you have had time to enjoy this video with me, let me know what you think in the comment section, and definitely I'll be sure to read from you. Before I say enjoy the rest of your day, make sure you subscribe to my channel, give all my videos a like, love and thumbs up, and stay notified. Guys, thank you for sticking with me up to this point in time, and I would definitely be seeing you in my next one. Toodles!